What's going on, guys? Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope everyone's having a great day. I am Josh, as always, with Vault Hunters Union, and I am back with, once again, another Versus video. A few months back, I decided that I wanted to get a handheld system, and I really wasn't sure which one to go with. The two big ones on the market, actually really the only big ones on the market, are the Nintendo 3DS XL and the Sony PS Vita. I was really unsure which one I wanted to get, which one was better, and I did a lot of research. Ultimately, as you can see, I ended up getting both. I wanted to make a comparison video because I know a lot of people also have the same dilemma, so I wanted to offer my insight as to which ones I think is better. So we're going to kind of go over a couple categories that I've come up with and compare them side by side just to see which one looks better, feels better, everything else, a lot of different factors going into it, and then we're going to decide which one, in my opinion, would be better for you. I'm not going to be too technical and go too deep into specifications. I'm more just going to be more into the basics, just talking about the things that most people are going to want to see. Most of the average gamers are not going to be out there looking for, oh, this one is better because it's a little bit lighter. I'm not worried about the weight, dimensions, anything like that. This is all about look and feel. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about with you guys today is the overall design of each of the systems. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the system. This is the 3DS XL. Obviously there's two screens. You got your 3D up and on and off, so you can kind of control how much 3D there is. Joystick, D-pad, A, B, X, Y, start, select, home, power. Along the bottom here you got your power light, your charge light, you got your headphones, your volume rocker, Wi-Fi rocker, stylus, and you got your memory card slot here. Very basic design. Nintendo's always been effective at creating simple but very effective consoles. The PS Vita, on the other hand, looks a lot more sophisticated, a lot more advanced, and really, I assure you, it's really not. So you got your D-pad, basically your ABXY, but in PlayStation terms, it's circle, X, square, triangle. You got your two joysticks, start selector here, your PlayStation home button, left and right bumper, power, volume rockers, game cartridge slots here. Got your camera, memory card goes on the bottom, headphone, and the charge cable slot. It's very simple, very effective. If I had to choose between the two, I'm going to choose the Vita because I really like the look. I like the 3DS more in the sense that it closes. It's a flip. So the the screens aren't exposed to anything. This one, the screens are always exposed, so you're kind of taking a chance. If I have to choose between overall design, though, I think the PlayStation Vita looks much better. Alright guys, the next category is kind of an important one when you're talking about portable consoles. This is about the feeling of the hand. What I mean by this is if you're playing a handheld system, you're going to be playing it for long periods of time at some point, so you're going to want something that's comfortable in your hand. I kind of have long hands but skinny hands, so I tend to play a game like this. Sometimes it's more relaxed. The 3DS I find really does this for me. Everything is in reach, even the 3D on and off is there. Speakers, everything is well within reach. I don't have to worry about straining too hard to get anything, so I'm a huge fan of this. As far as the Vita goes, I got to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the layout. Because they're round, I tend to grab like this, which is great for the screen. I don't really like the placement of the joysticks. I find I kind of have to play like this a lot, which is fine. I'm not the most comfortable with it. If I could kind of suck it up and play like this a lot, it would be better. But I just can't, and these buttons are kind of hard to reach as well. So it's kind of meticulous, kind of just bitching. You really are fine with either one. I'm just being really picky here because I kind of have to. So if I have to choose, overall feeling of the hand, I'm definitely going to choose the Vita on this one. The next one is probably the most important category if you're looking for a portable system. Obviously, you're getting the portability because you're going to be traveling with it or using it on the go. Battery life is going to be very important. Both of them are pretty good as long as you're kind of smart about it. The 3DS obviously has a 3D feature. Having the 3D on drains the battery insane. I find if I don't have 3D on, I get the volume at a moderate level, even Wi-Fi off if I'm not using it. I can get anywhere from 8 to 10 hours depending on my, what kind of usage I'm using it for. With 3D on, if you got the volume on, you got your Wi-Fi on, things like that, you're going to drain the battery fairly quickly, probably in maybe four hours if you're lucky, maybe 5. Now, as far as the Vita goes, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. If when I first got it, I had Bluetooth on. If you have the 3G, if that's on, the Wi-Fi is on, volume's on, stuff like that. You're going to drain the battery very, very quick, probably the same time period, 4 to 6 hours. If you turn everything off, You know, I don't use the Bluetooth. I don't have 3G on this one, but if I turn off the Wi-Fi, everything like that, turn the brightness down a little bit. I've gone like a day and a half on this battery. Like that's probably equal to about 8 or 10 hours. So they're pretty much going to be the same as long as you're smart about it. Like turn the things off you're not using. If you're in the middle of a game that doesn't need Wi-Fi, turn the Wi-Fi off. I mean, it saves the battery life. That's what's most important. So the next thing I want to compare with these two consoles is the screen. So the 3DS is going to have the immediate advantage because there are obviously two screens. The bottom one is mainly for touch. The top one is actually the gameplay screen. So the top screen, which is the big one, is 800 by 320. The bottom one is 400 by 240. Bottom one's not made to be too high quality because it's just mainly for touch. The top one is the actual gameplay. It is LCD. It's a decent quality. My only qualm about this console is that the screen is plastic, the cover, so you can mush down on it. So it's not the most stable. It's not the most secure. Definitely doesn't. If it's an endurance battle, the Vita is definitely going to win. Now the Vita, on the other hand, the screen is always exposed. As I said, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but it is glass. It is scratch resistant. It kind of smears fairly easy because it is that glass, but it comes off very well. The glass is definitely very strong. If you put your finger out to it and look, it almost looks like you're really far away from the actual screen itself. I really, really, really like the screen on this. If I have to choose between the two, I'm going to choose the screen on the Vita just because it is so much bigger and prettier. Alright, I really wish I had two games that were the same on each console to compare, but unfortunately I don't. We're going to take a look at some of the graphics. This is Pokemon Y. I really don't know why I bought this. It actually is pretty good, so don't be hating. The graphics on this, I really cannot hate at all. The graphics are very good, kind of cartoony, but it is very fun to play, and kind of pixely compared to the Vita. So in this situation, you kind of have to hands down give it to the Vita. But that's not a knock on the 3DS at all, because these graphics are actually really, 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 really good. Most of the games that I've played on the 3DS also look just as good. So let's take a look at what some of the graphics on the Vita look like. Alright guys, so this is some gameplay of the Vita. This is MLB 14 The Show. This is the main reason I bought the Vita. This is kind of a bad way to show the graphics of this game, but obviously if you look at the graphics, it looks lifelike compared to the 3DS. They're still not perfect, but they almost actually look like PS3 graphics on this Vita. It's insane. Obviously in terms of graphics, the Vita's got a better screen, has a better processor and everything. It's Sony's perfectionist when it comes to that. The Vita's going to be the way to go if graphics and top-notch screen is your selling point. So the last thing I want to take a look at, guys, is really nothing to do with this console physically itself. It's mainly the amount of games that come on the consoles. You can get, a lot of people say Nintendo has more games, and definitely Nintendo seems to pay more attention to their 3DS XL and their games and ensuring all the games are top quality than the Vita. So, the 3DS XL is definitely going to have much more games, much more variety, and also now they're starting to do like the Nintendo 64 classics and past that and beyond that a little bit as well. So, there's an advantage there as well. Sony's kind of been going that way for a while. They have the PlayStation Network, where you can play PS1 and PS2 classics that they've brought back. So, they kind of both have the same, in terms of playing the classics. Nintendo 3DS definitely has much more games. They pay much more attention and put more quality and work into their 3DS. The Vita still does have a fair amount of games. I would say the 3DS is kind of geared towards more kids, more child-oriented games, whereas the Vita is a little more oriented to like adults, different things like that. A little bit more serious gameplay, not series. More serious gameplay on the Vita. If you're more of an adult my age, 20, 25, maybe older, the Vita is definitely going to be more for you. If you're younger, generally you're going to stick towards the 3DS because they have a lot more cult classics and more games I find aimed at children. Alright guys, so as I've done with my past versus videos, it's time for me to now take the two items that I'm comparing and choose which one would be better. Now this one is going to be somewhat hard to choose because it does vary greatly based on your needs. If you're looking for 3D, or you like the idea of having one main screen and then the secondary screen is the touch screen for, doing secondary things, obviously then you're going to want to go with the 3DS. That's obviously an immediate advantage. If graphics are your selling point and you want to go with the game with the bigger, better quality screen, better graphics, the PS Vita is going to be the way to go. In general, though, I've got to know a lot of people in the gaming community over the past couple years, and I must say the most common thing I see is that most people would prefer a game that is more fun to play over a game that has better graphics. You know, a game could look really, really, really good, but if it's not fun to play, it doesn't really matter. So in most cases, gameplay comes first over graphics. Now, you do want a game to look pretty good, though. So what I have to do now is I have to choose which console I would recommend for me. This is my preference. Again, you guys can disagree. I'm actually going to put a poll in the bottom. You guys can go to that site, take your, make your choice. But if I had to choose between these two consoles for myself, if I had to, if they took both away, said you can have one back, the one I would choose would be the Vita. See, for me as an adult, I find the Vita is more geared towards adults, and the better graphics, the better screen, the PSN, being incorporated as well, and the fact you can stream it to your TV, to your PlayStations and stuff like that, really is something that I would really go for. The 3DS has much more games and stuff like that, but the classics and stuff are really nice. But if the 3DS were to start releasing older games like Donkey Kong 64, I would be all over it. But unfortunately, the classics aren't all games that I would really play. The Vita has a lot more games that I would play, more sports games, more modern games. Not necessarily cult classics, but also some of my favorite games of all time. Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII are on there. So having said that alone, if I had to choose, I would definitely choose the Vita. There's going to be a huge variety of people that watch this video. If you're a parent just watching the video trying to get an idea of which console to buy for your kid, definitely you're going to want to go with the 3DS. The Vita is a little bit more strong, but the 3DS closes, so if you spill something on the top, it's not going to be as bad. With kids dropping it as well, the Vita's, you could kind of argue would be a little bit more durable because it is, glass and, it's got aluminum framing and stuff like that. The 3DS also is going to be fairly strong, but it does close, so there's kind of an advantage there for kids. Also, the games are more geared towards children for the most part. Now, there are obviously, child-oriented games on both systems, but more adult-oriented games on the Vita. The Vita also does a lot more things that I prefer, such as the PlayStation Network, things like that, things that I would really do more than I would on the 3DS. So that's going to do it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I have put a link in the bottom if you would like to go to there just to take a quick poll, just to give your opinion on which one you like better. You're welcome to leave comments down below. I'd appreciate it if you left a like rating below as well. A lot of hard work goes into making these videos, lots of time in editing. I don't have a whole lot of time as it is. So, you can show your support by leaving a like rating whether or not you disagree. Other than that, you can leave your comments, of course. Let me know. Make sure to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter, as you saw in the in between there for the titles for the next categories, at VaultHU. Definitely follow me, tweet me, and I will tweet back and retweet and all that good stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. You have yourselves a great day. Peace out.